We want to move now to Los Angeles, where more than a dozen candidates are challenging Mayor Karen Bass in next month's primary. While Bass is sitting with a lead in most polls, two candidates, Spencer Pratt and Nithya Raman, have gained ground in recent months. Earlier, I spoke with Raman about her race and her candidacy. Here's more of our conversation. You just got into the race earlier this year, and some polls show you trailing incumbent Mayor Karen Bass as well as reality star Spencer Pratt. What are you doing between now and the June primary to close the gap?
You know, LA has a top two primary system, and incumbents usually get into the runoff, which is what the polling is showing us here. What I'm trying to do is tell people about the state of the race. Spencer Pratt and I are neck and neck right now, and one of us will be in the runoff and will be on the ballot in November. And that race for the second spot comes down to me, who has a progressive vision for an affordable Los Angeles, or a MAGA Republican who's a conspiracy theorist who has never held public office and has never shared any plans for how he's actually going to implement the change that he talks about. To me, that's the choice that's facing Los Angeles on June 2nd, and every vote is going to matter. That's the message that we're getting out to voters right now, and that is the message that is taking hold among many of the people that we're talking to.
Mayor Bass recently described Spencer Pratt's campaign as, quote, tapping into a general sense of anger that people have. Do you agree with that assessment?
I believe that there is a real sense of frustration in Los Angeles around the state of the city. That's what propelled me to get into the race. And I feel like if you don't address that frustration with real actions, if you don't demonstrate real change on the ground in the things that are driving that frustration, the incredibly high cost of living here in this city, the homelessness crisis, which continues roiling our streets every single day, if you don't demonstrate progress, people will turn to people like Spencer Pratt, who are giving voice to that frustration, but who are not promising anything like real solutions. Anyone who tells you that homelessness can be fixed with a tweet is simply not being honest with you. And I want voters to be able to channel their frustrations into real change, change that I've demonstrated in my district.
You were once a key ally of the mayor, though. You even backed her reelection. So what changed for you? And do you believe your candidacy could split the vote and force a runoff?
You know, the mayor's polling was very low even before I got into the race. And there was a very, very high likelihood of a runoff no matter what. And there were a number of candidates who had challenged our incumbent mayor. What I'm trying to offer is a choice between a very broken status quo that I think has failed a lot of Angelinos. People look into our city and they see a city that is harder to live in than it was before Mayor Bass took office. They see a city which is not meeting the moment. It's not meeting the issues that they're facing with urgency or accountability or results. And what I'm trying to show with my candidacy is that there is an alternative between our broken status quo and a MAGA Republican who is making unjustified promises to Angelinos, that we can have a path forward that promises a real solution to the very real challenges that Angelinos are facing. And that's really the message that I'm sharing with voters.
In the mayoral debate this month, you accused Bass and Pratt of working together against you. Do you still believe that? I mean, they both have denied that.
You know, I think that the political machine, which is supporting Mayor Bass in her reelection, is spending a lot of money to ensure that I don't get into the runoff, because I think they see me as a very real threat to the status quo, to what is already in place right now. And so, yes, I do believe that people are trying to ensure that I don't make it into the runoff. But for me, as someone who cares about Los Angeles, who has watched politics play out at the national level in really, I think, corrosive ways, I don't want that for the next 5 months in our general election. I want to make sure that we're having a real debate about how we address the very real issues that are facing us. I have plans for addressing our cost of living crisis driven by our extraordinary cost of housing. I have a real agenda for addressing homelessness with accountability and urgency and building on the results that I've had in my own district. That's the debate that I want to be having. That's the debate that Angelenos deserve.
All right. Councilwoman Nithya Raman, we thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.